Mr. Sachin C. is a practicing lawyer who graduated from Christ University in 2017. He is currently practicing as a junior lawyer under senior advocate Mr. Prasanna Kumar. They appear for agencies such as CBI, NIA, etc., other than appearing for cases for private parties.
Sir, I'm Lakshit and he's Vishnu. The first question is, since when have you been practicing as a lawyer?
I've been practicing since 2017 in the district court and the high court at Bangalore.
When was the first case in court that you fought?
I've been attending court cases from the day I joined office, but independently, an entire case by myself was after 1 year from 2018 onwards.
How many cases have you fought till date?
I can't give you a number, but I'm guessing we appeared in at least more than 200 cases till now.
How many cases are you dealing with currently?
I work in an office where we have matters in the trial court. There are about 300-350 files, and in equal numbers, another 350-400 files in the high court.
Okay. Sir, out of these completed cases, how many cases have you won?
Actually, we don't keep a number of how many matters we've won or not, but we represent a central agency such as CBI. So because of that, we have a number only for CBI where we've won almost 90-92% of the matters. But other matters, it's not practical to keep a number. We don't do that also.
How frequently in court do you appear to fight cases?
We appear in court every day. Whenever the court is functioning, we appear. And that is except second Saturday and fourth Saturday. Courts are functioning on all days. And we appear every day. We have matters every day. In and out.
So, what areas of law do you specialize in? And what type of cases do you typically handle? Do you elaborate on the same?
We have all kinds of matters. But our area of expertise in this office is we handle most of criminal matters. But we also take up matters such as civil or marital cases, any other forms of cases. We take up most of the matters except, say, company law or corporate law, because we do not have expertise in that area.
Okay.
But rest of the regular kind of matters we take up.
So, when no clients come up to you for corporate law?
They do come up, but then if it is something which we can handle, we handle it by ourselves. If it is not, then we refer it to a colleague or a friend who we know practices predominantly in that area, and we'll refer the client to them and they'll take it up from there onwards.
How do you keep up with the new trends, changes and developments in the legal field?
See, there are judgments coming up every day, and there is no easy way to do it. You have to keep reading every day. But there are certain websites and books which are being published, which give you a latest update on the kinds of judgments that are coming and new judgments. So you just have to keep reading it every day and update yourself.
Okay, so during any cases, if you have to remember any sections, do you still keep reading those sections?
Yes, practicing is much different from college. There is no rule that you shouldn't look at the book or anything of that sort. In between, even if you forget, you can tell the court and look into whatever material you want to look into and then submit to the court.
Okay. So, could you describe any particular challenging case that you encountered, and how were you able to handle these complexities?
We represent an agency called NIA, which is the National Investigation Agency, which is the anti-terror unit of Government of India. So because of that, we have matters which involve bomb blast or say murder for certain reasons which are not personal, to create hatred between certain groups or religions or things of that sort. So those kind of matters are very challenging because it's something which is very niche. You have bomb blast which is happening and the kind of chemicals are used in that, and the way they prepare it and things of that sort is very challenging.
Can you explain your fee structure and any additional costs that potential clients must be aware of?
See, if you are representing a government department, then each departments have their own fixed fee structure and they pay you accordingly. But in private matters, you can't really put a number on it because the fee you charge for a murder case is much different from a fee you charge for a small verbal fight or an altercation or a check bounce matter for that issue. So you can't really put a number. It depends from case to case and kind of matter, whether it's civil, criminal, those kind of things.
So have you taken up any case where you have had to fight for a client even though you know they are guilty or at fault?
Yes, we've taken up. I mean, I've taken up a lot of matters like that, but you have a choice whether you want to take it up or not before you take up the matter. But once you take it up, you should give your 100% to ensure that he is given a fair trial. Whether he's done it or not is something which the court has to come to a conclusion based on what the government tries to prove. You can't pre-decide it, but obviously during time you realize whether he's done it or not. But it's a individual choice that each advocate makes.
Which is the most favorite case you have taken up so far and why?
Nothing called favorite case or anything of that sort, but these matters where we represent CBI, NIA are very challenging matters, and day in day out you face some good advocates on the other side also because these are all serious matters. So that keeps you always on the edge and make sure that you should be up to their mark, otherwise you are going to lose.
Sir, what happens if you lose a case? How would you feel?
Losing and winning is part of the profession. You can't really get affected by all those things. But if you have a really good chance of winning, and even then, due to whatever circumstances you've lost the case, there is always a higher forum. If you lose the case in trial court, you go to the High Court, challenge it, and ensure that you get a favorable order there.
So, do you enjoy doing law?
Yes. Because this is something which, if you don't like it, you won't be able to do it for more than some time. And there is no age of retirement or anything of that sort here. You can practice till whenever you are physically able to practice. So if you don't like doing it, then you can't do it for that long.
Is there any communication barrier between you and your clients, and what is the solution for the same?
Sometimes there is, because there are clients from Bangalore who speak only Kannada. There are clients from outside who might not know Kannada, who might not know English as well. But usually in a litigating office, we have people, like I have colleagues who are from Bangalore itself, but who studied outside in, say, Orissa or somewhere. So they don't have a language barrier.
Okay.
If I am not able to communicate with someone in Hindi, at least one of my colleagues is able to do it. So they'll handle that matter and they'll talk to the client and correspond accordingly. And in rest of the things, I mean, English and Kannada we are aware because most of them in Bangalore are aware of it. If you have outside clients, then we have colleagues who can manage the conversation. So they'll take it forward.
So, what is a litigating officer?
See, once you finish your graduation in law, you either have an option to go into litigation where you go to court, attend matters, appear before the judge and do the aspect of law where you are in court, you handle that part, that's called litigation. Or you can get into corporate law. Corporate law means where you work in a firm or an organization which, say, suppose Flipkart, Walmart, these two companies want to merge. They want to buy some stakes or get into an agreement. So that aspect of it will usually be done by corporate lawyers.
Sir, you have got some corporate cases, right? Like, can you name what is the cases? Can you explain what was the case?
See, we have few cases where certain companies would have entered into a transaction with another entity two different companies, or an individual working in a company would, in violation of the agreement that he signed with the company, go work for somebody else or sell their private data or information or use their technology for himself and do something out of that, act in violation of all those things, which will lead to a crime. So these are the kind of matters we have. We do not have any strict corporate law issue as such, but something which deals with companies, but also is there's a crime which has happened. So those kind of matters we handle it.
So after studying law, what are the possible career options you could get?
Like I said, you can be a litigating lawyer, you can join corporate law, or there are various companies, say Infosys, Accenture, Swiggy, any company for that matter, they have their own legal team. So you can be part of their legal team. Or there are government organizations which have advocates, say ONGC Limited, all these government, private sector undertakings or public sector undertakings. You can join those companies or those organizations as part of their legal team. So there are a variety of options you can do there.
What is the starting salary that a fresher can expect?
Once you join litigation, there is no benchmark as such. There are people who pay 5,000, there are people who pay 50,000. So
Per month.
Per month.
Okay.
And in corporate, I think, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing the entry level starts from 30,000-40,000, and over time with experience you get increment. In litigation, there is no set standard as such. It depends from person to person and where you're working, whether you're working in a litigating firm, you're working with an advocate, or you start off independent. So all those factors.
So depending on the factors, you guys decide what the salary is.
No, like say for example, I don't work with an advocate. If I start my own office, then if I get client in that month, then I may make 20,000, 30,000 if it's a small case. If nobody comes to my office the entire month, then I don't make any money.
Okay.
But if I get, say, if I get a huge case which involves, say, crores of money, then the client might be willing to pay me in lakhs. So I might make lakhs of money. So you can't really put a exact amount in situations like that. But in litigation, if there are junior advocates joining another advocate, there will be a fixed salary. That is the discretion of the person who you are working under. So they can choose to pay you 10, 20, 30, 40. It's up to them.
So now suppose if I am a person who wants to go in a law field, is it necessary to do masters after bachelor's?
See, usually in litigation, in court, it wouldn't really have any additional criteria. It wouldn't add as an additional thing for your qualification, because what happens in the court is what you learn through experience. It's not something you learn in college. So, but for academic purposes, if you want to teach later as a professor or join a college, or if you're working in an organization, maybe for your promotions and things like that, the master's degree may be of some help, but not exactly in litigation.
Like, do the lawyers charge like on per hour basis, or does it depend from lawyer to lawyer?
It depends from lawyer to lawyer. There are lawyers who charge you on a hourly basis. There are lawyers who charge you on a case basis, depending on what happens at the end of the case. There are firms which charge you on a hourly basis. Usually that is a practice which is followed by firms and not individual lawyers, but there are lawyers who do that as well.
So what are the work timings for an advocate?
See, if you are a litigating advocate, the High Court starts at 10:30, gets over at 4:30. The trial court starts at 11, goes up to 5:45. So that is the time where you have to be in court. Once you come back from court, you just takes half an hour to relax, and then clients start coming in. So depending on how many clients come in, you finish attending to those clients, send them back, and then you sit down to prepare for the next day. So it might go on late in the night, or it might get over soon, depending on what is the magnitude of work that is there in the office. There are firms or offices which get done by 8, 9 o'clock. In the night, there are firms which go on till about 12, 1 in the night. So it's very subjective.
So do clients come in randomly into your office, or do they have to get any appointment?
No, clients can walk in.
Okay.
There is no bar for that, or there is no need for them to have an appointment. But usually what happens is till about 6 o'clock or 5:30, we are always in court.
Okay.
So because of that, there are some clients who come to office and we won't be there to attend to them.
Okay.
So usually clients come post 6 in the evening or on holidays.
Thank you, sir, for giving me your time. Thank you
No
so much.
problem.
Thank you, sir.